Hi guys, so today I wanted to talk all about my thoughts on what to do if your style doesn't really match where you live. So the first response that I sort of hear about this is that, style is a form of self-expression and you should really feel free to express yourself and, be who you are wherever it is that you are. And I certainly agree with that. I think you should definitely feel free to express yourself however it is that you want, wherever you live. But I want to challenge that a little bit because my question is, are you really expressing yourself effectively? If you maybe moved to a new area and your style doesn't match that new area, let's say, and you put an outfit on and you're really comfortable at home, you feel like you look just like yourself, and then you go outside and you feel really uncomfortable, like, oh, something is getting lost in translation here, something is not right, and that is sort of what happens when our style doesn't really match where we live. And I wouldn't really say that this is always a problem of confidence. I think it's completely natural when you are trying to communicate something. Like, we often try to communicate something through our style, and I see style as a form of communication. When you're trying to communicate something and it gets lost in translation, or your audience or the people around you, your friends, just don't really understand what you're saying or understand something different, that might feel very uncomfortable, and that doesn't mean that you aren't confident. It just means that something is going wrong there with that communication. So what is communication? Communication is relational, right? It's something that you're communicating to someone else. It's something that you're expressing to someone else. So in that way, self-expression is also relational in that way. You want to express yourself. You want to communicate something about yourself to others. So when you're trying to communicate in a way that might be out of touch with the people around you, you're not really communicating effectively, you're not really expressing effectively. So that's why I think it can be a little bit of a learning curve, depending on where you live, to sort of express yourself in a way that is consistent with what you want to express. Because remember, that feeling of being a little bit uncomfortable, you were comfortable at home, right? You feel like you look just right because you're seeing what you want to see. But then when you go outside, maybe you realize, oh, this is not quite right. This isn't really what I wanted. And that type of discomfort is completely normal when you are miscommunicating. It's sort of like, imagine for a second you work in economics and you made this 40-minute talk to a professional audience and you decide you want to communicate what it is that you do at work at brunch. And so you attempt, you could never give the 40-minute talk. You would attempt to give the 40-minute talk at brunch, which of course would make you uncomfortable, would make everyone else uncomfortable, and it just wouldn't work. It doesn't mean that they don't want to hear what you do for work. It just means that you might want to communicate it differently depending on where you are. Likewise, when you are expressing yourself through your style, there are a lot of things to consider, like the occasion, the area that you live in, the people that you're around, because it is about that relational aspect. It is about expressing to other people and to yourself as well, sort of who you are, what you want to say to the world, and everything in between. So there's really nothing wrong with sort of changing the way that you're expressing yourself, so that is your style, right, in a way that is going to better communicate your message. So you could be working on your confidence problem, that you're just not confident to express yourself just how you want. But you might not even have a confidence problem. You might just be realizing, rightfully so, that your style might be out of place. It's not really saying what you want it to say. So I want to give you guys two concrete examples that I find really have a lot of effect on sort of making your style out of place or more in line with where you live or where you are or the occasion. And those two factors are level of dress, so how casual something is, and also color, how light or dark colors are. So I want to talk first about level of dress. So with level of dress, you might be someone who might have moved from, let's say, a city to a rural area, or a rural area to a city, or something like that, where the level of dress is just different. It's more casual in one area and it's less casual in another. Or you could be someone who has not moved at all, but maybe you're getting your inspiration from Instagram or something like that, and the level of dress or the area that person, that influencer, lives in is just completely different from where you live. So the question that you could ask yourself is, at what level of dress am I most comfortable relative to my peers? So if you are someone, let's give an example, let's say you lived in a city and you were really comfortable at actually being a bit more casually dressed than your peers. You wanted to feel like you were expressing that you were casual, your style was casual, and everything like that. And then you moved to a rural area, and all of a sudden, your so-called casual outfit that would have been casual in a city is dressed up in a rural area. And you put that on at home and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I look great, this is me, this is what I look like. And then when you go outside, you feel completely out of place and like you really don't feel comfortable, because you don't feel comfortable being more dressed up than your peers, because that's actually not your style, right? Your style is a bit more casual. So in that case, there is going to be some sort of almost assimilation there, because, if you wear the outfit that you feel comfortable in at home, you are going to then leave the house and feel like you did it all wrong, and you're going to keep doing that over and over again and not know what to do, right? And then if you are putting something on at home that just feels way too casual on you, when you go out, it's actually probably going to be just right. So it's really about getting comfortable with expressing yourself effectively, and whether that means that you are trying to learn how to express yourself even if you haven't moved, just through your style, and you're getting inspiration online, you're trying to figure out, how do I make this work in my day-to-day life, or if you just moved. Either way, it's going to take a bit of learning, and that learning might feel sometimes a little bit uncomfortable. Sometimes you might get it sort of, quote, wrong, and by wrong I never mean that, oh, you did it wrong. I just mean to you feel not quite right in the outfit for whatever reason. Imagine if you move from a city to a rural area, you might put on an outfit and you might feel like, oh, this is me, this is what I look like. And you might go outside and you might feel like this is not right, this isn't what I wanted to express, I feel uncomfortable in this, and then you tell yourself, oh, I'm not confident, I need to be more confident, But really, what you could do is you could actually put on an outfit that makes you feel confident in the situation and the place that you're in, because it expresses who you really are. Oftentimes this can be a little bit uncomfortable too, because you're learning a new form of communication, right? You're learning sort of a different language in which to express yourself when you move to a new area. And a lot of people will stumble with this because they'll say, well, this outfit is me, this is who I am, and if I don't fit in this area, then I'm not being accepted. But really, it's a matter of language. It's a matter of how you're communicating who you are. It's not a matter necessarily of not being accepted. You would still be you would simply be communicating who you are more clearly. It's just like my example with the brunch situation. You wouldn't give a professional talk at brunch. It doesn't mean that people don't want to hear about what you do for work. And in the same way, you wouldn't show up dressed up in a certain way if you're from the city, and that's how you would express that in the city, in a rural area, or something that you would find on Instagram, wherever it is, translating that to wherever it is that you live. So it's all about translating, right? It's about translating your style to the area that you live in, or to the situation that you're going to be in. And it is very relative. I am all about this idea of having things be relative. What you're wearing is relative to the lines of your body. The colors that you wear are relative to your skin undertone. They're not just alone. The outfit that you're wearing and what you're communicating, and that form of self-expression, you're expressing yourself relative to other people, and you are expressing yourself to others, maybe to your friends, to your family, to others in general, outside, or anything like that. And finally, I want to say, if you move to a new area, you also could be a bit gentle with yourself, because the truth of the matter is that you are new to the area, and you're not going to look like you're from the area because you're not from the area. You just moved there, and that's totally fine, right? So there's really no rush to sort of do this. There's no rush to sort of change your style in a way that's more congruent with what you're trying to express in that area. It's only a matter of sort of realizing what's happening and sort of understanding that, and that understanding will really give you peace of mind. And the other thing is, of course, colors. So with colors, we are talking mostly about colors being too bright or too dark, and you might feel out of place if your colors are out of place in a certain environment. And for that, I would say, you can learn to sort of swap out some colors. So let's say if you really like to wear a lot of bright colors and you feel like maybe it's too bright in the area that you live in, you might want to take that down a little bit. Or you might also feel like, something that used to look bright on you in one area and you felt like you were just a ray of sunshine now looks really muted and toned down in another area. So in that sense, maybe you might actually want to brighten your colors even more, because that sort of incongruence between what you're trying to communicate, which is being bright, is really taking place there, and it's not really consistent with what you want to be doing. Another thing is that you might have really enjoyed to wear dark colors, and you might have felt really comfortable in dark colors, but then when you go to a certain place or something, you might feel out of place in those really dark colors, especially if you're wearing a lot of black in an area that wears a lot of florals and just light colors. So in that case, you might actually want to sort of wear dark colors relative to that area, right? So you still want to maintain sort of your expression. You do enjoy wearing darker colors than your peers, but you might want to sort of make it relative to that area, because it is a form of communication, and that might come across more clearly in terms of your expression than just wearing the dark colors that looked dark in another area. So that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave some links down below to some other videos you could watch on color typing and body typing and other talking videos that you might enjoy as well. And I'll also leave a link to my body typing and color typing services that I offer through my website. And if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below, and if you have video suggestions for other types of videos like this, then let me know. I would love to take a look at that. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.